Hi, today I'm going to make a delicious tomato pie. Not like a tomato pie pizza, but a tomato pie in a pie crust. I have some of the most amazing ingredients to add to this pie. Let me show you some nice organic tomatoes that I got from the Clearfield Organic Farm in Vermont. It's in Granville, Vermont. These are very special to me. They came as special delivery. This is going to be a special organic heirloom tomato pie. So I'm going to use some of these nice colorful ones that were grown in Vermont, and we're going to get some very delicious flavors. Let me show you the other recipe ingredients. I'm going to use a pie plate and an already made pie crust. I didn't bake it yet, but I'm going to pre-bake it before I start filling it with ingredients. I'm going to use some ricotta cheese, some chipotle Tabasco sauce, some fresh basil out of our garden, an egg, and some breadcrumbs made from a few slices of bread. Also, I'm going to use some of the organic garlic that was grown in Vermont also. Alright, let me start getting the pie crust baked, and as soon as I pre-bake that, I'll show you how I'm going to prep the other ingredients. Alright, I'm going to take one of the pie crusts in the package here and roll it out on the pie plate. Now I let it come to room temperature a little bit so that it's a little bit more flexible than when taking it right out of the refrigerator. Alright. These things usually work out pretty good for me because they're the right thickness, they're the right flavor, and I have a deep dish pie dish here, and I'm just going to use my fingers to make it go all the way up to the edges. No fancy crimping or anything this time. We just want to contain as much as we can in that pie plate. Okay, we're going to follow the package directions. It says 450 degrees. I'm going to preheat the toaster oven, and we're going to poke some holes in the bottom just to keep it flat as it bakes. I'll just use a fork for that. Alright, I'm going to pre-bake this and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to start by slicing some of these tomatoes. We're going to use some different colors. I washed a few right here to get started, because the beauty of this pie is that you can see all the different colors of the heirloom tomatoes. And these are very flavorful. Rick and I had a couple sandwiches made out of them already, and oh, they're so good. The story behind this is my nephew Daniel went on a trip to visit his friends who live in Vermont, Granville, Vermont. And they're organic farmers, and they do a beautiful job, and every time they go up there I think, I gotta get some of those vegetables when he comes back home. So this time he brought a big box of these kind of tomatoes, heirlooms, actually 2 boxes, also some nice fingerling potatoes, some fresh garlic. You know, it's a great place to get your vegetables. They have quite a business in Vermont. I understand they go to farmers markets and co-ops, and I'll put the link to their farm on my description area here. So you can see for yourself. But they really farm these vegetables with heart, and you can tell. It's like making a dish with love. So here we go, trying out some of the delicious flavors of these heirlooms. Alright, I'm going to make slices that are about 1/4 inch thick. And these are going to decorate the top as well as go through the pie. Now when you look at these slices up close, you can see how heirlooms are kind of special compared to other tomatoes that you might find. You can really taste the difference, and I always appreciate them. Look at that. Pink and yellow and orange. Oh my goodness, look at that tomato slice. That is beautiful. So thank you for sending these tomatoes, and thanks Dan for bringing them all the way back for us. And I'm going to slice this one too. In the meantime, the pie crust is baking in the oven. I baked it first because there's a lot of juices going on here, and we really want to make sure that we have a firm crust and it won't be soggy on the bottom. Rick, doesn't it make you feel like having a sandwich right now?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. They're all ready to go. In the meantime, now we're going to make a mixture. We're going to use some of the ricotta cheese. And you know, I forgot the mozzarella when I gave you my ingredients. Let me get that out. All right, we have 2 cups of grated mozzarella. I'll measure this for you. We're also going to use 2 cups of ricotta cheese. All right, we'll put that right in. I was so excited that I forgot to tell you about the cheeses, and I'm also using some dry basil, not just the basil from our garden. So we're going to sprinkle some of this in, get a nice healthy amount of basil in here. You could use some Tabasco sauce to your taste. This one we like here in the household is chipotle. So we'll give it a couple shakes of that. Put as much as you'd like in your flavoring. I'm going to crack an egg in there to help hold this all together. I'm going to use some breadcrumbs torn from some fresh bread slices. I have 2 crusts and 2 slices here. That should really hold some of the nice flavors that are going to come from the juices in the tomatoes. Alright, I'm going to cut up a little bit of the garlic. I'm going to add the chopped up garlic. And I am going to add some Parmesan cheese also here. We'll also put a little bit of this on top of the tomatoes at the end, along with the fresh basil. That smells so good. Alright, let me mix this up. And you can see the egg kind of moistens it. We really want to have a mixture that's a little bit on the dry side, but yet it's going to be very cheesy. Starting to stick together. It reminds me of making lasagna, how you just put a layer of this in. And the cheese is going to make it taste delicious. Can you hear the moisture in there? It's really a nice mixture. You want it to be kind of how I would describe something that you could make a nice wet snowball out of. How's that for a description? And that's what we're going to press in on the tomatoes. Alright, let me see how the pie crust is doing, and we'll get started. Alright, I'm going to bring the pie crust out. Now, it's not fully baked, but you can see how nice and brown the edges are here, right? And you can see that the bottom is now dry, but it's also hot. It's okay that it's hot because we're going to start assembling the tomatoes in here. Now on the bottom, I'll use more of the red because You don't see as much of that. And then the yellow we'll save for the top, make it nice and pretty. All right, let's start in here with the filling. Use your fingers a little bit to press this down. We want it to be nice and flat because it's only so deep. Alright, there's our filling. I'm sure this will sink down a little bit as it bakes. And now the next layer is what you're going to see on the top. So we can use some red and we can use some yellow. You can alternate them a little bit, just be a little creative how you want this to look when it's done. Oh, this is fun. And then for the middle, we'll take this nice yellow. Okay, how beautiful. Now we're going to sprinkle this with some dry basil. We're going to use a little pepper. We're going to use a little salt. And then we're going to add some Parmesan. Okay, when we're done baking this, we can garnish it with some nice fresh basil too. I'm going to get this back in the oven right now while the pan is still hot. We're going to bake this for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Here we go. It's all done. It's baking. Wow, look at that tomato pie. Doesn't that look delicious? Okay, so I'm going to take some of the fresh basil and just tear it up on, decorate this a little bit with some fresh basil leaves while it's cooling down. We'll give it a couple minutes to settle and then we'll cut a slice and show you what it looks like inside. Alright, now the pie is still hot, but we're going to cut into it and serve a piece because you can eat this hot or cold, but we would like to try it hot tonight. And I think if you eat it cold, it'll be much easier to serve, but let's see what happens when we cut into this beauty. Oh, look at that. Look how nice. Cheesy. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Okay. All right, there's our, I'm going to do one ending like this and then maybe we'll taste it. Okay, there's our beautiful heirloom tomato pie. Look how nice that is. Alright, I'm going to take a taste here. I'm going to give Rick a taste also. Alright, let me take a taste. Mmm. Mmm. It's so delicious. Here, Rick, go ahead and enjoy.
Alright, thanks. Oh,
Oh, you have to try this recipe.
it's good.
Isn't it good?
Cheesy.
Yeah, it
Pie
doesn't.
crust.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. Okay, please get a chance to try this. I think you'll really enjoy it. Thanks for watching.